dobrze, słuchajcie, teraz mikrofon mi działa, ale to my dzisiaj nie o tym, bo Boom dał nam nowe plakaty, nowego shorta i dzisiaj mamy wszystkie sekrety, easter eggi, analiza odcinka part 4. Zapraszam. Lecimy z tym. Mam nadzieję, że głos jest teraz już dobry.
But if you watched my analysis of that part, then you must remember how I mentioned that Boom didn't have time to include the craziest scenes in it, and he had to leave it all for the full version of the episode, which is coming really soon. And I am expecting to see the full version release.
No ja też mi się wydaje, że słuchajcie, ten odcinek to na pewno wyjdzie w przyszłym tygodniu. Tak, coś mam takie przeczucia. No, on tu mówi o tym tygodniu, ciekawe. To mi się wydaje, że on miał już większość scen zrobionych, tylko specjalnie to skrócił, nie? Ale bez sensu, że on wrzucił shorta teraz. Mógł wrzucić na przykład jeszcze poczekać, nie? Ale jeżeli teraz wrzuca shorta 3 czy 4, tam 3 czy 2 dni po oficjalnej premierze odcinka parta 4, to znaczy, że ten full epizod będzie szybko. Bo po prostu by bez sensu było, jakby na przykład, nie wiem, wiecie, był tak, że wrzuciłby teraz tego shorta, czy jeżeli odcinek na przykład byłby za tydzień, za 7 dni, to shorta by wrzucił na przykład w niedzielę, nie? A w następną niedzielę full epizod. A tutaj jest to bardzo szybko.
Boom already released some other materials related to the fourth part of episode 77 and I'll show it all to you today.
No mamy te postery
What new details did I notice in the shorts that Boom uploaded on his channel just today? What was hidden in the exclusive posters to the fourth part?
Ty, na posterach było coś ukryte? Dobra, sprawdźmy.
Okay, so if you are now, and this video repeats the scene from the actual episode where Astro Juggernaut defeats Titan TV Man once again and knocks him to the ground while saying him to stay down. And at this moment, the Skibidi army led by G-Man attacks. And do you hear this awfully familiar music? Yeah, that's
w końcu powróciła ta muzyka Skibidi, nie? Oficjalna.
It is the very same track that played in every earlier episode of Skibidi Toilet and became so freaking iconic. Apparently Boom decided to feed us some sort of blue nostalgia and reminded us of the viral glory of his
może wiecie, uporał się z tymi prawami autorskimi i teraz może sobie to puszczać.
Series, which now went the more serious and epic route in contrast to what was happening in the beginning of Skibidi Toilet. But then the music cuts off when the reused and remade puppet of Skibidi Scientist shows up on the screen to apparently made us focus more on it. And then at the end of this shorts, we see how the POV cameraman's camera gets shut down, or maybe we just get relocated to the other agent's camera in this moment, just as it already happened in episode 71. In any case, this shorts was not really heavy in lore or anything.
No, to znaczy, czy nie był, tam nie było czegoś fabularnego? Było, bo lepiej widzieliśmy te Skibidi Toilet, które atakowały, nie?
Loved how Boom decided to make us all nostalgic a bit, because his trick definitely worked on me. Okay, and now let's get moved to 4 exclusive posters that Boom also uploaded.
No te zdjęcia, tak? To na Twitterze u Booma najlepsza jakość jest, nie? Tych zdjęć.
And this is the practice which he is using for a while already, at least since episode 74. And sometimes he is just posting the most badass moments from his series, but in a better quality, and sometimes he is leaving some secrets or hints about what we should expect in the future episodes. That's what he did with the
no ciekawe, czy tu coś zostawił.
Posters to the third part of episode 77, for example, where he hid the secret phrases referring
a plan był, nie?
Titan TV.
To ciekawe, czy tam też coś wrzucił, nie?
So let's take a look at today's 4 posters and see what they might bring. And the first poster depicts the upgraded Titan G-Man, where I can finally see all the details of his new appearance. And in my analysis, I already spoke of all his upgrades and new parts. But what I missed out was this weird metal detail in
no właśnie, ma taki jakby medalion czy coś. Ciekawe, co to jest. To wygląda jak obiektyw kamery, nie?
The center of his forehead. And now I can finally have a closer look at it. And my theory is that what if this clunky construction is
a nie, to nie jest coś jak ten szczypce od tego? Znaczy od tych szczypiec takich, co przechwytują tę energię?
Somehow connecting G-Man's brain with the rest of his body. And its purpose is to let him fully control all of his parts and details, and that's why he was acting so smooth in the battle with Astro Juggernaut. because right now his body became so complex that it would be difficult for him to just manually operate with it all. But that's just my theory. Maybe in reality this detail is more cosmetic one, which just shows his former relation to the Astro faction. Because as you guys can remember, lots of elite Astro soldiers have some sort of signs on their foreheads, like the
No znaki albo obroże mają, nie? To jest dziwne. Takie niepokojące, nie? Że obroże są.
Okay. And the second poster depicts Titan.
No ale czy poznaliśmy w ogóle ten plan Tytana TV-Mana? Jeżeli okaże się, że on tę broń jednak wziął do swojej bazy, to chyba plan mu się powiódł, nie? No oczywiście odniósł obrażenia, no ale dostał tą mega broń Juggernauta.
Sassy expression on his TV screen while holding the cannon that he stole from Astro Juggernaut earlier. And I know that some of you guys tried to find some hidden messages on this picture really hard.
Nie ma,
and so
nie?
did I. But
Tych
unfortunately,
ukrytych.
no real words were hidden in this poster with TV Man. And the same thing goes to Astro Juggernaut's image, as this is just a cool poster depicting this badass toilet. But I didn't find any secrets or hints in any part of the screen. But these posters still look dope though. Okay, and what about the last poster depicting Skibidi Scientist's puppet? Well, I actually found one really curious detail in here.
Tak? Tutaj jakiś szczegół?
Look at this puppet's face, y'all. Do you see some sort of cuts on the sides of his face as if it was torn apart but then sewn together? Well, the thing is that the last time we saw Skibidi Scientist's puppet in action was in the first part of episode 73.
Tutaj, nie? To ten był. To on przerobił tego naukowca?
Piloted by TV woman sitting
Ciekawe.
inside of it. But once G-Man learnt the whole trick, he literally blasted the whole puppet with the enemy pilot in it down, and that probably affected the general state of it. So probably when the puppet was getting repaired, the state of its face's injuries was so severe that Skibidi toilets literally had to adjust the whole freaking
No ale mi się wydaje, że to jest raczej... Wydaje się bardziej, że to jest ten naukowiec Tytan, ten co walczył z sojuszem.
cannon in his face and sew up the parts from its
A nie
side.
ten, co był kontrolowany
Okay, and
przez
now
TV
let's go to the
Woman.
most exciting part of this video, which is also quite hilarious at the same time. Because, well, let's say that I somehow missed one of the cutest and funniest details that Boom
Co chodzi o tego
put in
kota?
his
Tego
series.
przegapił to?
So I was probably so freaking fixated on the G-Man's return that I missed the kitty that got his epic
A,
comeback as
kot,
well.
no dobrze mówiłem.
And we could see him for literally one split second in the moment where the Skibidi army was shown in full. And to make the process of finding him even
Czyli jeżeli to jest Skibidi kot, to w takim razie tego Skibidi kota nie będzie jako Juggernaut.
more, not only was he shown for really just 1 second, but he was also covered behind the wall of dark fog. So guys, I think you should kind of excuse me
Co z
missing
tym
out on this
kotem jest
guy,
fajne.
because the way Boom hit him was actually ridiculous. But speaking of the kitty himself, I guess that it's either the same exact kitty we saw back in episode 16, but, slightly boosted, I think?
Może ten kot jest naukowcem
Or maybe
raczej,
it's the
nie?
completely different cat, but related to the one from episode 16, as they're both fighting on the Skibidi army's sides. And to tell you honestly, I was quite surprised because of that, as we already mentioned the kitty's possible appearance. Yeah, sure. But in the context of Astro Juggernaut, actually? Do you remember the cat's paw
No
that he
właśnie,
had on his
to-
armor back
Te kocie rączki.
in episode 72? And let's also remember the fact that the Astro Jugger son from episode 75 looked like a literal poppy when his mask fell off. So I would actually expect this kitty fighting on the Astro toilet side, you know,
Czyli Juggernaut to nie będzie kot, tylko jakaś
given all these
psopodobna
very
rzecz,
interesting
nie?
and lore-related details. And now let me show you a couple of comments under my episode 77 part 4 analysis that my subscribers wrote to me. Because that shows once again how dedicated and smart my viewers are. And I want to say thank you for being so cool, my fellas. And the first comment that I found to be really interesting was written by the guy named Dougie529. I don't know if anyone noticed, but Titan TV Man teleported with the Juggernaut
O, patrzcie, tu jest ten, że on się teleportował z tą bronią Juggernauta.
weapon, and you could see it in the end, so he got a really good sample, as long as his slow ass gets out of there. So I rewatched the whole ending scene
No ale gdzie to widać? To?
where Titan TV Man was finally teleporting away together with the POV. And I
No
realized
jeżeli on wziął tą broń, to będzie niezły power pack, nie?
that this guy might actually be right, as we can see TV Man pulling one of Juggernaut's fallen weapons closer to him as he teleports. And in that case, I think that it would be really logical to give Titan Speakerman this red cannon, as it was truly made for him.
No właśnie, kolor czerwony to
So now we
głośnika,
have not
nie?
only the chance to still see Titan Speakerman in action, but also to take a look at the Speakerman's armada in any case. And the second comment that caught my attention was this one, where my subscriber wrote, "Dude, just imagine Scientist TV Man watching Titan TV Man teleporting into his giant chamber where he gets repairs. I assume logically that the chamber room will be giant too, and bringing the POV with him like a little pet. I can already imagine TV Scientist just being like this while sipping his coffee."
No tak, kto nagrywał w ogóle tą rozmowę w shortach, nie? Kto tam był
And
w
you
tej
know what,
bazie?
bro? I can totally imagine a scene like
Czy
this.
to był TV Daddy z tymi kamerami na sobie, co miał?
And I must also point out that I never saw Titan TV Man teleporting any survivors with him. And
No
only
właśnie,
TV
Skibidi
Woman
Toilet zostały tam.
was noticed saving the other agents aside from herself. And the last comment that I'd like to mention was this one. A detail that I noticed in this part is how you can see through where the mask was damaged by Titan TV Man's sword. And what you can see is a human eye and eyebrow, and it's easier to see in the original footage. So this detail debunks the theory about Astro Juggernaut being a dog or cat.
No, to ciekawe. Ja bym się nie zdziwił, jakby Juggernaut to była kopia G-Mana.
But I must also say that it's extremely difficult to see exactly the Astro Juggernaut's face in this moment. But considering that we already
Ale to
say
by
the
było
kitty,
coś, nie?
and it
Ja cię gwiżdżę.